Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Craig Monk, and it's my greatest privilege to serve as Provost and Vice President Academic. It is my pleasure to welcome you to MacEwan University today. I'll be your MC for Grand as a Griffin, MacEwan's State of the University Address, delivered by Dr. Annette Trimbee, our President and Vice-Chancellor. First, I'd like to begin our time together with an acknowledgement that the land on which we gather in Treaty 6 territory is the traditional gathering place for many Indigenous people. We honor and respect the history, languages, ceremonies, and culture of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who call this territory home. The First Peoples' connection to the land teaches us about our inherent responsibility to protect and respect Mother Earth. With this acknowledgement, we honor the ancestors and children who have been buried here, missing and murdered Indigenous women and men, and the process of ongoing collective healing for all human beings. We are reminded that we are all treaty people and of the responsibility we have to one another. We are very fortunate to have Elder Dr. Lillian Gadwa Cryer with MacEwan's Kenew-Wauxton Indigenous Center to offer an opening prayer.
Ai. Nigan mamutawi mau semantu inanaskumak. Emigwe akumak isikaw. Kape mamo paya kawitsitoyak. Kwes kikwe kamamsku tama ke katoska tama kota. Nanaskumon hekwamutse. Thank you for the invitation to come and speak on behalf of my people, all of the Indigenous people in this world, specifically in Amiskwaciwâskahikan in Edmonton. My name is Bisamoyapi Onimitu. I come from Kihiwan Cree Nation. My ancestors, Nistame Makanek, are from there, but I'm also from Nipsikopak, which is Samson Cree Nation. And today, Edmonton is my home. So with that, I greet and I also acknowledge my ancestors in my prayer, because for me and for us, acknowledgement of our ancestors is the most important thing to do in order to continue our life, to move forward. I heard the mention of missing and murdered Indigenous men, women, girls, boys, and that is something that we are so busy in making our people aware, and we're also training and also teaching our young ones to be at their best and also safe and take care of themselves in the best way that they can. So with that, my prayers go like this. Ahau mamotawi mau, nanasko meten, kinanasko meten umakisakaw kamiyak. Epe natamaki kwe emiwasik. Kawitsito ak hekwa makinanasko meten. Ahau mekwa nungumak kakio utsi nimosumak mina sakaste nok hekte utsi pesawe menan kakame mototama kumapimatsuan ekwa minuti apitaki sakano kakio nukumak nimosumak pewitzinan kweske samamtane tamaki kwe atoskatamak. Ahau mekwa Paksimuta kote. Ekteotsikakio nukumak nimosumak pesawe menan. Kamiu astisiniak mana hekwa kakamemuya kakamemototamak pimatsun. Katoskatamak kwe emiwasik. Ahaume kwa kiweta nok ekteotsikakio nimosumak nukumak. Ekteotsisawe menan. Kam mototamak puma kikwe atoskewen. Kakiota akapitik aisinoak penagateem. Pesaweem uistoagueskes mamtanehtage. Pesaweem kakamemotsik katoskatagi kikwe miosik. Kamamo kamatoyas husuats mamotawi mausemantu. Egwamina kakio nukumak nimosumak. Kin mamsito tatenawao kapesaweemiak. Egwamotsik inanaskumten. Ahau mamotawi mausemantu kinanaskum tenan kisaki tenan minakakyo. Ai. Thank you.
Thank you so much for beginning our time together in a good way. We are fortunate to have as many as 10 Board of Governors members with us, including Chancellor Dr. Tony Fields and Board Chair Carolyn Graham. Let me offer a special welcome to all these committed colleagues. I'd also like to welcome the more than a dozen special community guests in attendance today, old friends and new, who help make Edmonton and the surrounding area spectacular. We are so grateful for our relationships with you. Today, we celebrate what we do at MacEwan to be grand as a griffin. Our success as a university relies on our work, on the connections we make, and on the legacy of our students after they complete their studies. This afternoon, you will hear how this success has come to be, but these can be but a few examples of the dedication, hard work, and support that make MacEwan special. We have much of which to be proud. There is an undeniable momentum at MacEwan. With Dr. Trimbee's recent reappointment for another term as our president and vice-chancellor, we are well positioned to carry through the goals and aspirations of teaching greatness and to continue to grow MacEwan's impact. Now, please join me in welcoming Dr. Annette Trimbee to give this year's State of the University address.
Good afternoon. I have to tell you, I saw the Griff prepare, and I was kind of like learning that Santa Claus wasn't real. So anyways, she's a hockey player, and this was easy for her. So thank you, Craig. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to thank Elder Dr. Lillian Gadwa-Cryer for her prayers and her acknowledgments. And I'm going to take you down memory lane just a little bit. So imagine it's 2021. And our women's soccer team has made it to the national finals, a tight game between MacEwan University and Trinity Western that went to overtime. I don't know where you were, but I suspect some of you were there. I'm looking at Joel. Some of you might have been watching it on TV. I was, and I had our board chair, Carolyn Graham, over there on speed dial because she is a soccer mom. And I needed to understand what was going on when they went into overtime. I did. But moments into overtime, our goalkeeper was in a scary collision and taken off the field in an ambulance. Minutes after seeing their teammate leave the field, the team, with their backup goalie, now Annette, imagine that, backup goalie, now Annette, pushed through their anxiety and concern, taking the game into an overtime shootout. Talk about responding to pressure, pulling tightly together, working as a team, and stepping up in difficult moments. Imagine you alone. After stopping 2 goal attempts by the other team, the Griffins won. They won. She wasn't alone. Their first national university championship title, a huge moment in our university's history and in the lives of those student athletes, a game they'll never forget. But for me, the best part of that story is that as soon as the game was over, the team went en masse to the hospital to present their injured teammate with her medal, demonstrating their sense of community and teamwork and their collective celebration. This year, Griffins Athletics celebrates its 50th anniversary, so we thought it was a great time to focus this year's address on teaching greatness, grand as a griffin. When we talk of student success and recognize the important impact our students and alumni have on our communities, we call it being grand as a griffin. But what does that mean? A griffin is not a shy animal. A griffin is powerful, strong, determined, and purposeful. It's known for having a magical combination of qualities that has made it a respected and legendary icon across time. And that's what we provide students. That magical combination of durable life skills that prepare them to take on the world and a drive to make a difference in their communities. And that's what sets us apart. Today, we're celebrating the contributions we have all made in developing graduates who embody those qualities and acknowledging the same qualities in our faculty and staff. We're here to celebrate all that is great about MacEwan University and its important contributions to driving our community forward. Resilient, strong, connected, collaborative, and innovative, and we have some amazing stories to tell, like how we're developing graduates with critical thinking and research skills, their ability to ask questions and imagine new possibilities, future leaders who have a sense of community, empathy, and the tools they will need to make an impact in their chosen field. That is how our faculty and staff make a difference. All of you, in sharing your greatness, help us power MacEwan. We are all grand as griffins. Our commitment to our students' overall development is why MacEwan is in demand. Our students know that we'll be right there next to them along their journey, and our partners see the value in what we do. I hear from so many students and alumni about how we make a difference in their lives. I recently ran into Matthew Yanish, a MacEwan graduate and a former VP External Relations with SAMU, whose experience gets to the heart of what makes MacEwan special. And Matthew's here with us today. I just saw you.
My first year at MacEwan was difficult because coming from a background where no one in my family had attended post-secondary, I didn't know what to look for. I only knew that in theory you go to this place for 4 years and you walk out with something that helps you get a job. And my first year, after my first semester, I was on academic probation, and by the end of it I was on the dean's list because I found what my passion was, and I found professors who were willing to foster that passion and talk to me about what I want to do and how those skills that I could learn through their courses or through my education at this institution could get me to a place that I couldn't even see at the time. I remember the most terrifying thought of going to university when I was younger was the idea of the 300, 400, 500 person auditoriums where you don't know a single person in that room and the professor has no idea who you are. At first I came to MacEwan because I thought it would be an easier transition and then I'd figure out what I wanted to do, but I found my passion and I found what I wanted to do at MacEwan, and it was the best decision I ever made.
Thank you, Matthew. Let's give him a round. It takes a lot to have your face up on that big, big screen. It's an exciting time for MacEwan. We are the right university for the time, agile, innovative, and committed to student success. But we cannot sit still. We need to be prepared to meet changing workforce demands and the evolving needs of our students. I call that perpetual motion. When we first introduced our strategic vision, Teaching Greatness, we set a course focused on cementing our place as an exceptional undergraduate university that delivers a nimble, flexible, and well-rounded education that delivers lasting value. Through today's presentation, I'll be sharing data from the milestones and markers we established in 2023 that hold us true to our path and ensure our success while keeping the essence of MacEwan intact. These milestones aren't just facts and figures. They make the journey real, providing markers to show how far we've come and encourage us to continue the work to reach our destination. Every one of you, our staff and faculty and friends, contribute to this vision and our success. One of the most ambitious and important goals is to grow our population to 30,000 students by 2030, which we are on track to achieve. It's a big number, it's a big target, but one which will ensure MacEwan continues to meet the increasing demand for talented, job-ready graduates. Our province is growing, and so are we. The biggest splash this year was our groundbreaking moment for the new School of Business. The building is the cornerstone of our enrollment growth as it builds capacity for 7,500 new students on campus. With construction underway, I'm sure you've seen the cranes. You've already heard about the Government of Alberta's $125 million contribution. In the coming year, you'll see lots of news and stories about this new building and the School of Business as we look to raise $25 million in capital support through our MacEwan Means Business campaign. The campaign is off to a great start. We've already had several notable donations, and we'll celebrate more as we continue to connect with our partners and develop new champions for this important project. Buildings are a great way to show community support. There's something inspirational about new construction in our downtown. It speaks to the important revitalization of Edmonton's core and highlights MacEwan's leadership role in growth and the positive development of our city. We are very grateful for the support of our donors who see the value in championing our efforts. They know MacEwan is doing great things, developing the next generation of leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators, and community builders. And those things, great things, would not happen without the collective efforts of our faculty and staff to ensure we are providing students an exceptional undergraduate education in a caring and supportive learning community. This last year was one of our strongest years ever for fundraising. I'm looking at Larry McClelland, and she's got members of her team here. She's very results-oriented. We raised almost $5.6 million for the MacEwan Means Business campaign and campaigns like Students First, Change in Action, I think Jessica's over there, and various scholarships and bursaries. And we're on track to exceed this amount in 2024, 2025. This support is coming our way because we provide value. Our alumni are out there making a noticeable difference, and our community wants to see that continue. Gail Pauley, CEO of Technology Alberta, has seen the impact of our graduates in Alberta's tech sector and will share her insights on what makes MacEwan alumni valuable to that industry.
Tech people often hire other tech people to grow their businesses. What they really need are business people and communications people to grow their business. So in working with MacEwan and the School of Business, it's been a wonderful partnership. It's been both parties working hard for the sake of the community. The business professors have that energy, and that's contagious. I don't know which came first, the students giving the energy to the professors or vice versa, but that's what's happening to our community as we work with MacEwan and your business faculty. So when you have people like MacEwan students who already are wired to connect with others, that can actually really help support, again, these technical experts that's not their strength or interest. And so it is really a win-win to get community-minded people together, and then as a greater community, we can punch above our weight class, right? It's not a whole bunch of individual entrepreneurs, it is hundreds and thousands of tech entrepreneurs working together to build a tech sector that has actually been recognized now as one of the strongest and fastest growing tech sectors in Canada, in North America, and beyond.
Well, thank you, Gail. I don't know if Gail's here, but I can tell you when I first returned to Edmonton, she was one of the first people I spoke to, and she said, you know, Annette, the companies I work with love hiring MacEwan grads because they walk in, they're job ready, they don't expect to be running the place right away, and she used that line, the tech sector needs all kinds of people. I hear that glowing feedback from other leaders. I flew to Ottawa on Friday, and I sat beside somebody who had a basketball bracelet on, so she started to talk to me about her children, and I learned she has 2 children at MacEwan, and she told me what a great experience her children were having, and then I fessed up who I was. You have to be careful. But you know, our alumni are everywhere, and that's because they are. At Spring Convocation, we reached a milestone of having 90,000 graduates who are out making important contributions, so in no time it's going to be 100,000, that'll be something. And while the number of alumni climb, I'm very pleased to share that we do so with an eye to ensure that our students and alumni reflect the community we serve. This year, we continue to succeed in attracting Indigenous students to MacEwan, for example. Our investments in Kehewatsin are making a difference by integrating cultural guidance and variety of ways of knowing throughout our academic programs and support services, and hosting events like the first in-person Indigenous Youth Rising Conference. MacEwan is making a tangible impact on economic reconciliation. And this is making a difference that will last for generations. Recent graduate, Rashina Yeloni, who grew up, lived and worked within her reserve, came to MacEwan with a goal, like many of our students do, to help people. She saw how much potential her community held and the need for more educated and experienced people to serve the place they come from. Now, with her bachelor's degree in social work in hand, Rashina's goal is to break the barriers that challenge her community and help the next generations heal, grow, and thrive. There are so many stories like Rashina's of students choosing MacEwan because of a personal goal. Another reason why MacEwan enjoys an enviable level of support is your efforts to develop job-ready Grandis Griffin graduates. We aim to give every student at MacEwan experience through hands-on, work-integrated learning opportunities. Work-integrated learning opportunities. It's a mouthful, so I'm going to refer to that as WIL. So WIL is not your brother. WIL is work-integrated learning opportunities. So this year, 93% of our programs had a will component, which is a year ahead of our 2025 target. Students are seeing the value this experience brings, and last year, 27% more students chose classes with a will component. And while the School of Business, you win, this one, is the largest source of these classes, we saw over 400 more non-business classes incorporate will, an impressive jump of 48%. So this happens because of the hard work of our faculty members and the will team. We have a centralized team who forge partnerships with our community to identify opportunities that are meaningful for our students and assist employees to address their needs. So this pays off for our partners as much as our students. And not all will is done off-site, one student at a time. Sometimes we will take a whole classroom into a situation, and I'm not supposed to single them out, but you might have noticed there's a lot of photographers up there, so I think we have a photojournalism class. So I really don't like having my picture taken, but I'm a university president, so I'm game. This is your MacEwan University, so here you are. So it really does pay off, and I do think our students get to have experiences that many others don't. So this young man on the screen, Michael Black, had an internship with the Ford Motor Company of Canada, which was so impressed by him that they called him back to work full-time as their parts service and customer experience manager. So placements like Michael's are an integral part of the MacEwan experience. Our students are enjoying hands-on learning opportunities with community partners like the Edmonton International Airport, Edmonton Elks, the Oilers Entertainment Group, Invest Alberta, and Citadel Theatre. And I'm really proud of that. Like, I think the transition into university and the transition out are very, very key. Not to tell too many stories, but I also, when I was in Ottawa this weekend, I had to go get something at Shoppers Drug Mart, and I started talking to a young woman who was working there, and I learned she had a master's in machine learning and artificial intelligence, and she said she couldn't find a job. I said, "Have you heard of Alberta?" She said, "Yeah, but I heard they just want mechanical engineers." And I said, no. And I wrote a note to Gail Pauley, who instantly started a conversation with her and was going to give her some tips on how to actually hunt for jobs. So I know that it can be a challenging transition, but I do think we do our best to help our students. And part of why we can do that is we're downtown, so it's a little easier for us to connect with our partners in the core. And I also know, and I want to make sure everybody is aware of this, because sometimes I talk so much about downtown, I forget to talk about the impact of the work we have in other places, for example, in rural Alberta. So a former ADM that I worked with in government gave me a call, and he's the Chief Strategy Impact Officer, some fancy title, with the Alberta Financial Services Corp. And their purpose is to grow and sustain the agricultural industry in Alberta, and they've been working with MacEwan for a decade. I didn't know this, but MacEwan students have been tackling their problems in our classrooms, and they've hired graduates across a wide spectrum of disciplines like risk management, insurance, finance, human resources, and information technology. And now we're working together on joint research. So think about it, downtown Edmonton, here we have students helping farmers and agribusiness manage their risk and grow. What a wonderful example of how a downtown university is making a difference far beyond what people expect. Our connections have a large part of our success. And last year we spoke a great deal about the value of place, especially as a downtown urban university. With the growth we are projecting, MacEwan needs to ensure accessible and affordable housing exists in the core for our students. This past year, we've looked at new ways to collaborate with our community partners to meet this need and contribute to the revitalization of Edmonton's downtown. Over the past year, we've held numerous discussions with developers, and again, I'm looking at Lara, and these can be quite funny because here we are, we talk to our students, we do surveys, we understand what you need, and we've got these developers, and they're telling us how the world works according to them. And we've had, sometimes we're talking in circles, but it takes a lot of boldness to do that, and we have been doing that. So we've got some good ideas on how to move forward, and we are going to invite industry to submit proposals that will lead to student-friendly units downtown. We have a residence, it's full. I don't know that we want to build another residence just for students on our campus. That's great for first-year students, but for second, third year, fourth, it's probably better to be out there in the community a little bit more, in student-friendly housing, in affordable housing. So this is yet another example of how our presence downtown is making a citywide impact. So Kaylin Anderson, CEO, and Jason Sixvaxi, VP Strategy for Build Edmonton Metro, but I knew you as one of those student leaders at the University of Winnipeg. I think your role was probably external relations. I'm just guessing, you're such an introvert, I don't know. But he's here in Edmonton now, and we're going to listen to a video, and they're going to share a little of their perspective on the role MacEwan is playing and the impact of our new School of Business, the impact the building will have on downtown.
A lot of our downtown has yet to be built, and it's an active work in progress. So to have partners like MacEwan who see the vision, name the play, and actually go after the goal proactively in partnership with others is such a sign of leadership that our downtown should be forever grateful for.
Having a university in the downtown is critically important because it is literally the nexus where people, insights, perspectives, and scholarships converge. It animates the downtown each and every day by bringing students, faculty, professors, and more visitors to the core. It adds to the image of the city because it actually brings a physicality and a presence to the downtown with physical buildings, but it's everything in between. It's the people that are walking through the sidewalks, it's people who are converging and taking up space, whether it's in a green space or in other parts of the downtown. It's all of these visitors and learners who are staying after their classes and actively animating the downtown.
So every time a major investment like this is made in an important public place, it stimulates the conditions for that whole ecosystem of players and partners, many of whom will not even be at all connected to MacEwan, but will feel the vibration of the impact of this development.
Well, thank you, Jason. He's quite active on social media. Anyway, he has a lot of fun. So I often tell people, I remind them that MacEwan brings an average of 20,000 people to the downtown core during our fall and winter semesters. So that's 25% of downtown's daily population. So people say, oh, you're an anchor tenant in Edmonton's downtown. And I don't really like the word anchor because that sounds like kind of you're grounded. But I really like to talk about these 20,000 people as a great source of energy, a great source of ideas. So we're not just a fall-winter campus anymore. We're doing more in spring and summer. We offer more programs and courses year-round, and that impact will be felt even more. And it also makes it easier for students to take advantage of that flexibility to speed up their studies or spread their courses over a longer period of time. We saw strong growth, back to the facts and figures, in our spring-summer term. We offered 24% more senior-level courses in the term, and more students took advantage of that, with spring-summer enrollment increasing by 16% over the last year. We're also offering learning options such as micro-credentials, which are short, flexible courses designed for professionals who want to stay current or build new skills. And I'm very proud of this flexibility. So here's an example of a student, Victoria Huang. She previously earned a physical therapy, occupational therapy assistant diploma at MacEwan, and she chose to come back when she learned she could continue to work and get a degree in 2.5 years. She just graduated with a Bachelor of Applied Human Service Administration and now has her eyes set on getting her master's degree. So I really like that when MacEwan became a university, they kept these building blocks. Although 80% of our students are now in degree programs, they still have that option of coming here for a year, coming here for 2 years, going out to work, coming back, and a lot of them choose to do that. So this year, we're really wanting to help students understand the benefits of learning both inside and outside of the class. And we've built something called the Student Experience Record. So it's an official document, and it will recognize students' involvement in extra or co-curricular activities throughout their career. And what these records do, I don't know that employers are necessarily going to say, could I see your student experience record? But you as a student can look at that, and it will help you frame what you bring. I've coached a lot of PhD students who've decided for some reason they don't want to be a university professor, and they don't know how to describe what they bring. And I say, you have to be able to describe yourself as more than a PhD candidate. What did you learn on your journey? And now we will populate those student experience records and we'll grow the opportunities for that to happen. Here's an example of a student who really took advantage of those opportunities. For Mariam Sheikh, she spent time with the Model United Nations Club, and that helped her better understand what she was interested in. The months of hard work she spent preparing speeches, researching topics, and developing her public speaking skills will make her a valuable member of any team she joins. And there are many mentors in MacEwan connecting students with these opportunities, and I think that work is vitally important. In the pursuit of continuing to establish MacEwan as an exceptional undergraduate university, we also need to be the best we can be. This means we need to be leaders in our fields, stay contemporary in our teaching, and active in research that relates to our teaching mission. The research this university is doing is fundamental to this effort, and it's a great way to show the community the brilliant thinking and learning happening here at MacEwan. This year, Dr. Mariel Papin was awarded a Canada Research Chair in Urban Wellness. Canada Research Chairs are a high-profile rallying point around centers of excellence that make an impact in the community through research, innovation, and teaching. Dr. Papin will lead the Research Institute for Urban Wellness, which now brings us to a total of 3 centers of excellence. We have 2 more Canada Research Chair applications in the works, and we're well on our way to reaching our target of 4 centers by 2025. And the Provost and I have been talking about building up our Chancellor Research Series. I see Chancellor Tony Fields there, so we want to put more resources towards that. So, oh, he's giving me the thumbs up. That's good. We could talk for hours about the interesting projects happening here. In fact, we have many, I think they're in-house reporters inside OCM that get to meet people and tell their stories. And this past year, we've profiled many, including Dr. Trevor Hamilton's work examining the effect of elevated carbon dioxide on zebrafish, Dr. Joshua Miller's study of growler bears, a cross between polar bears and grizzly bears, and Dr. Roland Lee's study into the factors contributing to the decline in electric vehicle sales. I share this just to give a sense of the scope and the breadth. And this scholarly work and the countless other projects underway make important contributions in their respective fields, but they also serve as an inspiration for our students. I do believe that students are inspired by great teachers who are passionate about the field, their chosen field, and great teachers who involve those students in their research. This year, speaking of involvement, we held our biggest ever Student Research Day with 300 students making 250 presentations, showing the incredible breadth of learning and discovery at MacEwan. Dana Jones, for example, one of our student presenters, introduced her study into test anxiety and reducing stress. In her literature review, she found a publication showing positive results when students were encouraged to view stress as something helpful. I told myself this morning when I reread my speech that I was going to benefit from Dana's research. Because she said using this technique called cognitive reappraisal did help students perform better on their midterms than students who viewed stress as a hindrance, even though both groups had similar test anxiety levels. Solid wisdom for all of us and for Dana. She says she learned how to overcome her fears and embrace being open to new ideas and the value of hard work. I know many of you felt like I did that day, inspired and impressed by the dedication our students showed in their work, and probably also wondering about next year's facility space and what to do when we're at 450. I'm looking at the provost, right? It's becoming more of a challenge to fit everybody in. And outside partners are impressed. Our students are winning research funds. For example, Alberta Innovates gave 12 MacEwan students funding to complete summer research studentships focused on the intersection of health and emerging technologies. The students worked with faculty supervisors over 14 weeks to research various health system issues before presenting their findings. Student research really gain a lot from these experiences. We're going to listen to Soyenga Sekwen, and he talks about how this gave him the skills and confidence to explore an entirely new path in the future.
The opportunity to be in research came from my Vehicle for Hire opportunity, where I was required to do research to fully understand how a simple tool as a persona can make such a big impact in community. So that's where my interest sparked. Being a researcher, critical thinking skills that I've attained so far are being able to empathize and being able to see things from different perspectives instead of assuming. You enter research with an open mind, and from there you analyze and you assess what you've gathered so far, and you create solutions that are tailored to situations. I think the best way to put it is that I view solutions now as progress, not necessarily an event. So we are making steps towards improving systems instead of just, believing that if you do this, this is a solution that would solve it all. When you get positive feedback, and when you can envision the impact that your research is going to make, I believe that is where success comes in research, where you're not just hoarding information, but you're utilizing it to create positive change in communities.
So Soyinka here, I don't see him, but that was jam-packed with incredible insight, I would say. And I dare anybody to think of a job that doesn't require research skills. I dare anybody to think of a life that doesn't require some ability to research, an open mind, and solutions as a form of progress. So, this is why we talk about Grandis Griffiths. So he's an example of that. All right, new buildings, more students, expanding critical programs and service that give us the advantage in preparing job-ready graduates. But I also like to emphasize the humanness of our graduates and our holistic approach. And I like to say we're not just preparing job-ready graduates, we're preparing good humans, or they come to us as good humans, and we help them understand the value of that. Keeping up with our pedagogy and being responsive to changing industry needs. How are we doing all that? Everybody I talked to today, and I said, how are you? Said, I'm really busy. I know we're really busy. But how we do that is by maintaining tight relationships with our stakeholders in our community. Our work-integrated learning partners, our donors, our alumni, our friends, and our fellow researchers, and how we connect with one another within MacEwan. This also includes keeping close ties with the Government of Alberta. We rely on them for base funding. This year, our provincial operating grant remained level. That's good. And we also received targeted enrollment expansion funding, growing our BSc in nursing and psychiatric nursing, child and youth care, and business programs. We're also managing this growth through thoughtful planning and investment. MacEwan University is now close to a $300 million operation, and most of that money is spent on people. We've supported over 50 new academic and academic support positions in the budget, and we're doing this in advance of the really steep rise in enrollment. To maintain our teaching excellence, we need to continue to focus on that because it takes time to recruit specialized faculty with expertise to teach particular programs. We want our students to be inspired, and we need passionate, ready faculty at the front of the classroom. So that's one example of scaling up. You've also seen an increase in our budget for internally funded research and more funds for scholarships, awards, and bursaries. We're also investing in and will continue to invest in the excellent support staff beyond the classroom that keep the academic and administrative business of the university humming. For example, mental health for our students, as it is for young people across the country, is a pressing priority. Our students are reporting much higher levels of anxiety and loneliness, and it's affecting their academic success. The difficulties students are navigating are far more complex than the ones I remember, and these require a much more holistic support approach. The team in student affairs now includes more diverse expertise, including the addition of new social workers, registered psychologists, and a health promotion specialist. They're helping students find the right tools to support their wellness, find resources for housing and financial aid, and connect with our community partners who can address long-term needs. I remind people MacEwan is a big institution. We're a system, but we're a system and part of a larger system. For example, a larger health system. Just this fall, the team launched our Community Nest program, specifically designed to help first-year students meet other MacEwan students and make friends. I was delighted to hear over 600 students signed up and I hope they will all take advantage of the events and activities the program offers over the coming year. We have a lot happening at MacEwan, and it's important to maintain the essence of what makes MacEwan unique and special. We need to continue to be grand as griffins in all that we do. There's a pragmatism about MacEwan that is quite different than other schools. I know sometimes ministers talk about apprentice programs and sometimes express a desire for all pedagogy to go in that direction. And I say, MacEwan, you know, we do the durable skills and the hard skills. We do that because we take a pragmatic and responsive approach. And 85% of our graduates say they would recommend MacEwan. That's good. And now we're going to hear from Dr. Samuel Mugo, and he started with MacEwan 16 years ago, about the time when MacEwan became a university. And I've always been impressed by his ability to inspire and motivate students. And today, he shares with us why he puts such an emphasis on connecting with the students in meaningful ways.
I think mentorship to all of us, I think is very important. Partly because I think all of us, you know, are a grand total, or if I use, you know, chemistry, you know, a compound of the mentors, you know, that we've come across, you know, so be it in whatever we do, you know, the mentors and the quality of those mentors, you know, contribute, you know, very significantly to who we become and, you know, the nature of work that we do and the confidence and even the outlook, you know, to the world. You know, so I think mentorship, it's critical to each one of us, you know, but specifically, you know, to the students, you know, in MacEwan. So some of the qualities that I would like to grow in the students that I mentor includes being able to be critical thinkers, being able to be adaptable, being able to seek after being innovators, being able to be effective communicators and collaborators, you know, so that, you know, they can potentially work well with others in a team environment, you know, to be effective in solving the challenges that often are there in the workforce. So I'm very, very proud that our institution is focused on creating and developing opportunities for students to make sure that, you know, they are ready, you know, for employment and for the job market.
All right, is Dr. Mugo here? Oh, there he is, yes. And we're clapping for all the mentors in the room, and I'm sure if you look around, some of you will note that some of your mentors are here, and I did quite appreciate your line about we're all compounds and we reflect all the mentors that have helped build us up, so appreciate a little science thrown in there today, Dr. Mugo. I know many of you share Dr. Sam Mugo's passion for what we're doing here, and your efforts are making a difference across the continuum of the student journey. It begins when students show up for it begins far before students showing up for their first day of classes, through events like Open House and the Indigenous Youth Conference, and when our staff spend time with prospective students who are looking at what options are available. And then it's ensuring students get a quality experience while studying here through active engagement, supporting their growth and development, and helping them through the challenges of post-secondary studies. And then it's how you build and maintain relationships with our alumni and donors, who are our strongest ambassadors and supporters. I have one last story to share. Harley Cordapat came to MacEwan as a grade 10 dropout who was working in the oil fields but wanted a better future for himself and his family. At 33 years old, he chose MacEwan. Harley is now a successful entrepreneur. I think he's been nominated for an Aztec Award. I think that's coming up. And a community leader who has this to say about his experience here.
What was great about the professors here is that they recognized that I had different needs, I had different responsibilities in my life, and they started offering me projects with them and kind of a different pathway in my education. And the professors were extremely open to that. As my family started to grow, as my daughter started to get older, my responsibilities started to change. And so I paused my studies because I had to make some decisions financially and also personally. But I was able to walk away from MacEwan with the knowledge and tools, how to build my business and how to scale it. And now I still reach out to some of the professors, let them know what I'm doing, how I'm doing, and I still ask questions. And this is years after I took my break. And I get answers. They still engage with me. They congratulate me on my successes and just very interactive with me. And I think that's really important because it's a community at this point. It's no longer a school, it's a community to me. When you have community, you have a sense of being and you're able to lean on your community for that help when you need it, and you're able to provide that help back when they need it. And I think that's important. I think that's important to anybody's success. Don't do it by yourself. You're going to find a lot of struggles for no reason. Find a community, find those individuals that support you and is going to cheer for you on the sidelines and help uplift you.
All right, a round of applause for Harley. I don't think he's here. So I know I've told just a few stories, and I will say as a university president that is the best part of my job because I get to meet alumni and hear their stories. But I hope this helps you see why MacEwan matters and why what you do matters and why we will continue being a post-secondary institution that is a respected, valued, and an important part of our community. And this is how we are all grand as a griffin and good people too. So thanks everybody for listening.